the moment is telling how you became a Baha'i. I thought maybe I would do that. I'm one of these first generation Baha'is. So college, I met a Baha'i back there, paid no attention to what he told me and ignored it completely. But at the same time, I got really tired with churches. So mountains became my church. I was a mountain climber and stuff. So I would go off. That was where I could feel God. Well, then I went to Alaska. And at one point, I went off to climb this one mountain, about 4 acres, third highest mountain in the state. And we'd gone up, and it was we hadn't made it, and we turned around and were coming down. It was a really nasty day coming down. It was sunny, but the wind was going from nothing to 50, 60 kilometers an hour just in an instant. And as we were walking down this pretty steep slope at about 4,000 meters, all of a sudden, the guy in front of me, who were attached by a rope, the wind hit him and knocked him down. And he was instantly headed down the mountain. And I saw him start, and I turned, because we had our ice axes, and I turned to jam the ice axe in the snow, but the snow was not very good. The next thing I knew, I joined him. And I had all these very interesting thoughts. I wondered what was down below me. And I said, well, there's a 5,000-foot ice face. And so I said, well, it looks like I killed myself in the mountains. And the interesting point is I didn't care. It wasn't important. And I was kind of wondering what all my friends were going to think about when they heard that I'd killed myself in the mountains. And I said, well, that doesn't make any difference either. And all this time I'm having these very clear thoughts, but the body was doing all these interesting things to try to stop this fall. So we'd gone quite a ways down, and I managed to get myself in a good solid position. And I slowed the other guy down enough that he was able to turn around and look back at me. And just as he looked back, I was coming down through the snow, and there was a big bulge of blue ice. Of course, we have all these spiky things on our boots, big crampons. I hit those with my dug-in feet, and that flipped me head over tea kettle, and I was off down the mountain again. So we were both down. Well, then I came down, and I came off there was a big crevasse. It was about, I don't know whether you like 20 feet or 7 meters wide, something like that. It was wide, but it was snow-filled. And I left a knee print in the middle, and then it was really steep on the downside, and I put a leg in at the edge of this crevasse and went over backwards. And I remember thinking very distinctly, it was a good thing I wasn't going over forwards because I would have just shattered my knee. Well, then I ended up hanging upside down with one leg in this crevasse. The other guy then comes flying over the top of the crevasse, misses it entirely, and the rope stretches out, and these things are extremely stretchy. They stretched over twice their length before they break. Well, it stretched out and then popped him back onto a kind of a flatter area down below. And the recoil flipped me out from where I was. And I did a strange twist where I ended up with this arm where my leg had just been. I had 2 crampon points stuck in the ice. The other crampon was dangling by a strap from the boot, so it wasn't doing any good. This hand had the ice axe, but my shoulder was dislocated. So the first thing I had to do was put my arm back in place. But I had 2 real powerful emotions at that point. The first one, I was absolutely disgusted because I was back in that body again. And I didn't want to be there. But just instantaneously afterwards, kind of when the body and the soul got back together again, I was extremely overjoyed because I was still alive. And from that point, we still had 25 miles to get back to the place where the airplane was going to pick us up over some pretty rugged terrain. But what it did is it told me there's a body and there's a soul, and the body is of no importance. So then about a year later, I run into this lady next to me here, and she starts talking about the Baha'i faith. And I wasn't a very good conversationalist, but I found out very quickly that if I asked questions about the faith, she would do all the conversation. And after falling off the mountain, I always say Bahá'u'lláh had to knock me off this mountain to get my attention. I wasn't very good about that sort of thing. Anyway, she starts talking, and I started paying attention. And the day we got married, I gave her my card as a marriage present. So that it is.